Hey gang, how you guys doing today? Happy Thursday. Hope it's going well. Sorry, I've not got a chance to get the Project 1's graded. Oh, sorry, I should cut the music down, sorry. Didn't get a chance to get those in and graded yet. We'll be working on that tonight and through the weekend, so should have those for you shortly. Sorry, I took a little extra time on those. Let's see, and then the quizzes as well. We had which one is it here? Come on, D2L. Let's load. Yep, so the Chapter 4 quiz is coming up. I gave you a little extra time on that because it took me a little longer to post it. So that's February 22nd. It's going to be by Monday, 11:59 p.m. I'm trying not to put due dates on the weekend if I can help it. Like Friday night, sure, but like if it's going to be due on the weekend, might as well just make it Monday. That's what I'm aiming for. So that one's coming up. And then we have a couple chapters we're going to talk about today, this afternoon, whatever day it is here. And they're not too bad. They're relatively short, but it's a lot of different material that we're trying to cover. So we're going to talk about the Mvc Design Pattern, a way we can organize our code. You don't have to do this for the next project or project 2. If you want to, great, tackle it that way, that's fine. But the project after that, we're going to be requiring this Mvc design. So we'll talk about that today. We'll look at how we can debug our programs in NetBeans, which is helpful so we don't just get stuck with those errors and have to wonder out what's going on. And then working with form data more than just those input fields there. Right. And then next week we've got almost the rest of the PHP, a couple other sections here, and then we do pick up the last little bit after winter break, just some basic authentication and email. This is some good stuff too. But then we'll be done with PHP, and we'll move on to the Java side of things. Is it too loud with the music in the background, or can you still hear me okay? I just wanted to see how well that would work with it kind of just hanging out in the background. Right? Yeah, debugging. We'll get there. We'll get there. It's weird I don't know, like why is it chapter 6? I'm not really sure, but sure, that's where they put it, so not too big of a deal. All right, so let's actually open back up our project here, our database program, because I want to keep using this example. So I know the book has his own set of examples that he uses, and I want to try and be doing a different set of examples so that you can see it more than one way, if that makes sense. You'll see it applied to our project, you'll see it applied to his example project, and then hopefully it'll make more sense when you apply it to your project from there. So let's see if we can get that to load here. Maybe. It's opening. It's going real slow. It's killing my computer right now. NetBeans is just a hog. What do we got? It doesn't even know. It doesn't know why it's confused. There it goes. You know, watching the stream preview does eat up a decent amount of CPU there, which is sad. I guess I can just pause it. If I leave that paused, I think I still get chat. Does that make it any better? Maybe? Alright. Still not great, but a little bit better. Let's see how that goes. Come on, NetBeans. Come on. Alright, maybe I try this. I'll just pull up chat here on my phone, see if I can speed that up a little bit here. Alright. There we go. So let me close that one down. See if that helps at all. Maybe it's just NetBeans is stuck. Oh no, there it goes. Okay. So closing that seemed to help. Oh, my anti-malware. There we go. Got a virus scan, all that. Alright. So we've been working with this stock program. Hopefully this is going well and you're able to replicate most of this for your project 2. Right? Where you're going to be working on buying particular stocks. Right? Individual stocks. So we did the buy, how we might be able to buy some here, right? But this is just for one particular user. That's fine. Not too big of a deal. But it's kind of a mess already, right? Where we have all this information everywhere. We're kind of mixing up. We have an update page over here. We've got our add page over here. We've got our error page, and it's not ideal. It is workable, but if we ever want to change something, I'm going to have a lot of places I need to change those particular values, right? Because they're all over the place. So what we want to do is we want to use this different way of designing and organizing our code. So it's called the MVC pattern, and he's got a nice picture of it here, but we can do our own here. So remember, the idea with a web server, clear that off here, is we've got some client out here, right? Sure. They're going to send a request over to our web server. That's us over here. We're this little web server dealy. And then we send some data back. That's a terrible arrow. Okay? So, sure. They make a request. We reply with some HTML and JavaScript and all of the fancy stuff. So what we're doing behind the scenes so far then is we'd go talk to the database. Right? Usually you draw these as cylinders. I don't know why. Where's that little like that look more cylindery? Sure. Right, here's our little database over here. So what we've done now is we've taken a request in and we said, okay, let's go get some data from the database, get it back, we'll stick it into our HTML page, and then we'll send it on back. And that happens for all of those pages, right, that we had. So we had our index page, right, goes and sees if we're trying to get some stock, right? If we didn't have any, we'll just get everything. If we did have a particular stock, we'll limit it by symbol. And if we didn't ask for a particular symbol, we'll just give them everything. Sure, so this is just like listing out all of our stock here on our index page. And then we had a bunch of forms. And all these little forms were for doing different things. So it was a little bit of a mess. I mean, it was workable. Here, oh, I probably just need to turn those things on. Back here. Yeah, that's not going to load without Apache on. Yep, couldn't connect. That's okay. We'll come back. Start up Apache, start up MySQL. All right, let's give that a try again. There we go. Right, so we get our list, and then we have all of these other like miscellaneous forms we just kind of jammed onto one page. And it's workable, right? We made it work. We were able to buy stocks, we were able to update stocks, we were able to add stocks, but each page now like had its own set here, and then this was kind of ugly. We said, hey, just go back. Sure, we added it, but then you have to click to go back. And it's making the workflow a little harder for our users, and it's making it a little bit messier for us to manage, because then I have a lot of pages that also do other things and have their own HTML, and I have to add all these links. So we can do better. So what we want to do then, instead of this particular model here, we want to have a controller. So a controller is responsible for taking the requests in, right? So we still have our client over here. We're going to put a controller in front of our web server. So a request comes into the controller, and then the controller is going to figure out, well, hey, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to add something? Are we trying to list something? Are we trying to delete something? Like, what kind of request is it here? And then it can use these models here, little model pages. Model pages, and then the models will go and talk to the database. Yeah, like over here. The model will go talk to the database. And the data that we get back then, so the model sends it back to the controller, and then the controller sends it to all these little views. So view pages, then the controller sends information to view sends back to the controller sends back here. So it looks a little bit more convoluted, but what it's doing here is it's letting us organize and separate our concerns. And if you remember back to your programming classes, right, we want to break down our problems into smaller and smaller and smaller problems to make them easier to solve. So the easy problem for us to solve is little bit by little bit by little bit. So talking to the database, right, is one problem. So we break those out into our model, and our model code then is the only thing that does the database communication. All of it happens in the models. We don't have to worry about it in the controller. We don't have to worry about it in the views, right? We talk to the database. Then, so the controller will go ask for whatever model we need to go get the data or update the data or delete the data or add the data, whatever it's doing. We'll work with the model to talk to the database. Right, so this is like step 1. And then whether or not we're getting some data is 2. Ask the database, get some data back from the database. 3, 4. Send it back to the controller. 5. Controller sends it to the view. 6. Views send some information back to the controller sends it back to the client. So it's 8 steps, but everything inside of here, right, is happening inside the web server. So this is just our code communicating with our code. So on the client side, it's one request in, and one response back. Life is good. Right? It makes it nice and easy. It's clean. They don't need to know any of the details of how we're doing this. Right? They just know they send a web request in. But we're going to try and clean it up a little bit and make this a little bit more organized so that each layer is doing its own thing. Okay? So what we do then is we're going to be changing our code up. We're going to start using functions to start having values. Oh, ORMs are fantastic. Yeah. So object relational mapping. So man, I don't even remember the term of it now. Find ORM. Object. Nope, not operational risk management. Object relational mapping. There we go. Yeah, object to relational mapping. There's lots of great ways of doing it. Yeah, there's a too loud snake. I was trying to leave it up just for some fun, but I can just close it down if it's distracting. Oh, is it? Okay, so I have my mic set to like drop out background noise, so maybe it wasn't loud enough to trigger that. Ooh, okay. So with the music like in and out, that's terrible. Let's see, where did I have that? I have a setting in here. I think it was in my mic settings. No, where was it? Filters. Yeah, I was doing some noise suppression, so it probably was screwing that up with music without me talking. I'm sorry. It's probably a better way to do it. Maybe I just need to mix in the desktop audio with the mic instead of having the music come up with the mic. But okay, we'll figure it out. I'm trying to be, more pro streamer style, do better at this sort of thing. It's a slow process, unfortunately. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start building out functions here then. So we're going to have functions that do particular pieces. So we've written functions before, and they work pretty much the same way in PHP as they do you might have done in Java, right? In this case, we're going to call it a function, right? We say function, and we give it the name of the function, any parameters, and then we do some code. You can return something, or you don't have to return something. You can just do something. It could be a void type or a returning type. You don't have to specify what it is, right? So we're not telling PHP a particular type when we define a function, so that part gets skipped, right? A lot of this has just been implicit. We say, oh, okay, if it looks like it fits, it fits. That's great. That's okay for us. Okay. So let's see if we can clean this up here. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take our index page and we're going to change this up a little bit. Okay? Because we want the index page to be our controller. We want everything to come into the index page, and then we want all of that then to send the requests around to the model to get and save data, update data, get the data back from the database, and then we'll send the information to views, and then that will be the actual page that then we're returning, that information. And we're going to do a lot of that. So we've done the include. So we had like this database error where we're able to include database error on all of our pages that used, if we ran into a database error in our catch, we would just include that message. We're going to do a similar thing. We're going to use include, but we're also going to now use redirects. So an include just takes the page and takes all the contents and sucks it into whatever we're returning back with include. Like it's embedding it in, essentially. A redirect is saying, no, take a request and go ask for a different one here. So a redirect actually tells the client, hey, I got a request in, we're going to send back a redirect. And then they send another request to that page. So it adds another step here when we do a redirect. It's a little bit tricky. So we try and avoid them. We don't use them all the time because it's annoying for the client to have to redirect, but there's really good cases when we do want to redirect. Right? It'd be nice if we didn't have to say, oh, hey, we updated the stock, now go do something. Right? What would be better here then is once we were done with all of our work, to just redirect them back to the stock page. Right? So we could say it's header, and then we're going to say location, colon, and then we get a couple options here. So dot is the current directory. Dot dot goes up a directory. We could go to a specific page. If we were like dot slash something, we could go to particular pages. So depending on where we want to navigate to. So this is just going to take us back to the current page, which is probably not what we want to do right here, right? We probably want to send it back to our index page. You know, let's give this a shot. So let's see if we can update a stock here. Redirect. So when we're done, we're going to redirect if we didn't run into an error. If we run into an error, we get an error. Let's see now. So our update stock, let's take, let's see, how about AMC? How's AMC doing today? We'll update the price of AMC. Let's see what we get. $5.76. Okay, so we're going to go to our page here, and we're going to take AMC. We're going to update to 576. Okay, it's going down a little bit. Let's hit update. And now AMC is 576. So notice it thought for a minute, but we didn't land on the update stock price page. It took us right back to our list page here, which is cool. So what you can do, if you open up the developer tools, that's F12 in most of your browsers, this little network tracking here is helpful. We're going to see all of the requests happen. All right, so let's try that again. So let's go to AMC. Let's just change it here to like 5.5 for fun. Let's update. And we're going to see all those network requests go through. So it goes to update, and then it sends us back to the current directory without a particular page, which is automatically going to load index. So the dot here, right, is saying that's essentially dot is the current directory with no page specified. So we get index. Right? Does that make sense? We get the index PHP with that redirect. So we don't need any of this other nonsense here. Right? My page here now is purely just a model, essentially. It's going to do the database thing, and it's going to send me right back. That's all it's going to do. What is it upset about? Unnecessary closing. Closing delivered. Do I not need that? No way. That's weird. Okay. Right, so there is no real update page. It's just always going to take me right back to here. So let's update, say, GME. I think they're down a bunch too, aren't they, right? Let's see. GameStop. Not so hot anymore, go figure. That's what happens with bubbles. They pop. 44.70. There we go, 44.70. All right, so let's go update to 447. And we're going to update. We're going to say, okay, cool, we updated stock. We got redirected back. And what's fun, you can click on these pages here. I like Firefox, just it's a browser I like. Edge is good. I despise Chrome. They're essentially spyware at this point, as much data as they send out to Google. It's gross. But we can see information here. So you have the request is what we are sending, and the response is what we get back. So we didn't actually get a response back because it just redirected us. But we can see our request here, and we can see our parameters. We sent GME is our stock symbol, and current price is 447. So it's the form data we sent. So we can kind of inspect that data here in the requests page, or requests tab here. The headers is not quite as interesting. There's other info there we can look at later, but mostly the request is interesting. And then we can see there's no request to index. We didn't have any request data, but we can look at our response. Response is, sure, that's the mode. Right? You could look at the payload. This is the actual HTML that was sent back, if you're curious. Okay? So we can see by using that redirect, we're kind of cleaning up our process here, and we're isolating these pages out now so that they're not also doing lots of different things. So there's no view data here. This is purely just a model update that we're going to send and return. So we can send data to the model, it'll do its thing, and it'll take us right back. So add stock, we can do the same thing. When we're done, we want to just header it back, add stock, and then we don't need to have any of this HTML with extra links and all that nonsense, right? Because really, I mean, who wants to have to click to go back to a page when we can just do it automatically? Okay, so what stock should we add? Should we add someone's stock? Should we look up Microsoft? That's Microsoft stock. So Microsoft 242.73. All right. So let's come back. We'll take Microsoft at, I don't remember what I said anymore, 242.70, 242.7. We'll add that one. It's going to add it and redirect us right back here to the list. Okay. How's that feel so far? Remember, find then would just do a particular, so find is going to hit us back to our own page here. Right? It's going to add the parameter here that we're finding, and it's going to limit that list. We can just find with nothing. Okay. MRO is looking good. I'm not, sorry, what is MRO? Snake? Oh, Marathon Oil. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about stocks and I'm all confused here. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, Thursdays are a long day. I will not be scheduling stuff like this in the future. Oh, hopefully you saw it in the Discord chat. I was off on this rambling tangent about scheduling for this course into future semesters. Not our current semester. We're in our time slot. We've got our time slot. We're sticking with the time slot. But future semesters, we'll be moving this course to the 6 to 9:45 p.m. time slot. Because it's a required course in the program. And for anyone who's a working student, sometimes it's hard to get an afternoon off. So hopefully an evening time slot will work better. And again, not that it's useful for you guys, which is unfortunate, but longer term, we've already planned next year out, but the year after next year, holy cow, so like fall of 23. Wow, I can't think that far ahead. That's way too far out in the future. But we're looking at taking more of the software engineering courses online. Apparently it takes a year to plan that sort of thing. This is news to me, but okay. So we'll be looking at that as an option. So if you have friends or family or associates who are interested in the programs here, let them know good things to come, and you can tell them all about your experience as well, which hopefully has been positive. It's been a little rough with all this quarantine learning, so I appreciate you guys and your flexibility and sticking with it as we do the best we can. So hopefully there's grace all around on my side and on your side for making do with the best is what we can. Because I know it's hard when we don't have our lab to meet in and be in person and do all that stuff. So, yeah. All right. MRO. We got to look them up now. MRO. I don't know. I have long-term concerns about oil stocks, but I guess that maybe these energy companies are diversifying. Looking good, aren't they? They're down today. What's their, like 1 month? Okay, so they're up from the month. Neat. 2,000 employees. Do they contract everything else out? That seems low, but again, I know nothing about this sort of stuff. Take a finance class. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can learn. Okay. All right, so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to turn this page into the controller page. Now we still have all this nonsense here, right, which is not ideal. We want to try and see if we can clean this up as well, right? So we'll be working on that, okay? We'll work on that sort of stuff, cleaning this one up. But the idea is now that I can get all the information I need from other pages and kind of piece these together. Okay, so what we can do then is we can add a new page where we're just getting information out. Right? So I don't need to be doing all of this stuff right inside of here. What I want to do is I want to have a model that gets all of my information, and I want to ask the model for that information. Again, just trying to break out our concerns. Yeah, Discord, Discrud. Yeah, I've been a fan of the Twitch platform. I mean, it's obviously it's not ideal for any class that needs in-person discussions. But we don't typically have lots of in-person discussions It's much more of a traditional lecture style plus lab opportunity, which is, it's hard without being in person to do lab style. Like, here, I'm going to show you something, now you guys go try it. I'm going to show you something, and you guys go try it. I'll show you something, and then you try it. So we're kind of more of a traditional lab where I just talk for a while, and then you go try for a while. So it's a weird format, but it works occasionally. The classes over at Dearborn, where I also teach, we're more of that traditional format. So it's the weirdest thing. The classes that have labs are broken up into different meeting times. Excuse me. So we'll actually meet for lecture time separately, then we meet for lab time. But the lectures aren't done in rooms with computers, not done in the lab. So like just a regular style classroom where someone just gets up front and talks, and like you can see what's on screen, and you take notes, do whatever you do, but you're not trying anything. So then specifically there's a lab meeting time to go meet together for lab. And I kind of like that format. It kind of forces that breakup of, okay, here's the instructional time, here's the practice time. Here's the instructional time, here's the practice time. And usually what we do is we just kind of mix and match it because it's hard to get to campus multiple times for classes. So we just say, hey, here's one big meeting time, and then we just kind of split it up as we go. So that's what we've been doing. And I think it seems to make sense for everybody, and no one has big concerns that they've told me about, at least. I'll talk for the first 2 hours, and you guys will go practice for 2 hours. That sort of thing. All right, cool. Sorry, I keep watching chat over here on my phone because I used to have it on the other screen and I don't right now. All right, so what we want to do is we want to build a model. Right, so just a model piece here. So we've got the ad, we've got this, but we want like the list here. So we want to take all of this junk that we're doing and we want to put it in a different file. Right, we want to separate it out so that it's not happening here. We want just this to be to the controller where it gets requests in, and it figures out which model to ask and what view to load. So we're turning this controller basically into like almost a big switch. Like, okay, what action did you want? Okay, let me go find that model and I'll return the right view. It's kind of the process that we're doing there. So the controller is finding which model to communicate to the database with and which view to send data back with. Okay, so we're going to add a new PHP file. We'll call this one our, I don't know, just our stock database. I don't know. I think that works, right? Stock database. Okay. Oh yeah, it doesn't have the closing tag. That's fun. That is fun. So then all of this then, right, can be moved out, right? So all of this connection stuff can happen, and we still need to do our try and catch. Basically take all of this here, put it in our stock database here. Okay. So we're going to set up our connection, right? And then we're going to do something, right? What do we want to do? So now we're going to write a couple functions inside of here. Okay, we can put all of our functions in this little model here. Okay, so I'm going to have a function for, we'll get stocks, and then stocks this one can just be for returning everything, right? So instead of having to do this little try catch thing here, right, we can do this. It should work out well for us. So we'll get stocks, and what it's going to do then is do this, all of them here. Statement execute, close, and then return. So it creates the query, prepares the query, executes the query, gets all the data, closes the cursor, and then it's going to return stocks. Here. Semicolon. We're going to return that stocks that we fetched when we're done. Right? So that's the get stocks. We also then can have a get stocks that has an ID. Right? Like by ID or by by name, I think is what we were doing for ours, right? Symbol, by symbol. Symbol. So if you give me a symbol, we can go run that query. So we're going to do this one instead. Okay, we execute, we get the stocks, close the cursor, return it. So depending on which one we want, and then we just call that particular function. Okay, so we've got our functions, we set up our database. Excuse me. Okay, so we don't need any of that in here then. We'll make the database. We can ask for a particular function if we want, right, of which one we want to do. Okay, so that will get a bunch of products that it will get, and then we're going to move the update out here as well. So this is our update here. So let's move this back into our stock database. This is update stock. And update stock needed a stock symbol and a price. Right? That's all this one does. So this one doesn't need to return anything. Right? It's just going to update it. What we can do is I can start closing all these ones out here now, which is nice. So I'm going to delete this one. And we're going to delete, let's see, we did the lookup, we need to do the add. So to add a stock, again, we do this one. All right, so we're going to add a function for add stock. And it needs a couple things, so it's going to need the stock symbol and the current price. I'll just copy those. This one goes in, runs the add. Right? We're just kind of breaking all these apart here and just putting them into functions into our model. So our stock database then has all of the methods that we're going to need, right, that we can use anywhere we want. So let's move this one out here. Okay. We're going to use this catch in a minute. Okay, so then our index doesn't need any of this because we have all of that happening already. We have our try block where we try and do whatever action we want based on what they're sending us. Right? So now we don't need to go to separate pages here. You don't have an add stock page. You don't have an update stock page. You don't have a buy. Well, you do have the buy stock page. We're going to keep that one around. But update stock then is just going to be ourself instead. But we're going to add an action. Because we need to tell it, oh, this is a particular action we want here. Right? So what we're going to do then in our code, we're going to add in, what do we want to do? Well, we want our stock database. Stock database, PHP. Right? So we're going to use that stock database here, which should load everything up for us. Okay, and then we want to try and get the action. We're going to see what action do we want. So our filter input from our input post, and we want actions. What action were we sent? Okay, and if our action was none, right, if our action is null, right, we didn't get a special one here. Well, what do we want to do? Well, if we didn't post anything, well, let's check to see if there were any gets. Right? Why doesn't it like that? Input post, action. Should like that. No. Oh, I missed the semicolon up there. I hate those line errors there. Oh, hydration and posture check. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting over here. Let me get my backboard for you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, if you take a lot of CIS classes, they all do get jumbled up in your head, for sure. And hydration. Thank you, Snake. Thank you. And out of coffee. When we take a break in a minute, I'm going to go refill my mug, and I'll be even more hyper believe it or not, which is good. I feel even better. So if that didn't work, now we're going to check for a get. Put get, look for an action. Then if that's none, right, if action is none again, right, inside of all that, give it a little format here. Then what I want to do is action must equal, we're just going to list stocks. Okay. Then, all right, awesome. Now we have an action, right? It's either going to be something they posted, something we get, or our list. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to try and get that information, right? So I'm listing here. Well, we need to run that list action, but I don't know if I need to give it any particular stock. Right, so we need to look for that symbol, right? So before we were looking for a symbol, so we can check and see if there's a symbol, and we were doing that off of a get here, symbol, and if symbol was none, if it wasn't there, if it was null, oops, null. Right, well then what I want to do is I want to get all of my stocks. Right, so I'm going to have stocks is, now I'm going to run that function. Right, so my function over here was get stocks. Okay, because I required the page, I can use the get stocks function. Else my stocks is get stocks by symbol. Right, so is get stocks by symbol. And I give it the symbol. Right, so if I had one, great, get the stocks. If not, don't. And give it that little format, clean it up. Right, once I've got that then, right, I'm either going to have this stocks or that stocks. Right, sorry, I got to do, if the action is equal to list stocks, do all of this stuff. There we go. Then we can require our view. So we don't have a view for this yet. Right? So what we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, if this was the action, right, use the model. Use the model, calls the methods here, and then we're going to hand all of that to our view, which is just like list stocks. We'll call it list stocks.php. So we're going to add a new page. So now we're going to add a view here. So our PHP web page here, this is list stocks. This one now can do all the things we were doing over here. Right, this little stock list. And, you know, probably, let's put it, yeah, right inside of here. Awesome. So we'll put our stock list in there. And it's looking for a stocks variable, which we have, right? We set stocks, and we're going to call each one stock inside of that. And then for each one of those, we're going to add some table data. Right? Add a row. So we could also, for fun here, like we could add a table header. I don't know if you guys have seen table headers. Right? We're going to have symbol. It's essentially a table data, but it's the header row, so it makes it look a little cleaner here. So we'll have current price as well. Okay, so this should be able to list them out. So this is the view. Right? Its entire job here is to give me the HTML that I need. This is the how I view my data. Right? So the controller decides what talks to what. It talks to the right model. It gets the model data, and then it calls for the view, and the view is going to turn that model data into something pretty. Yeah, require multiple pages? Yeah, you can require multiple pages. Oh yeah, yep. Sorry, you're good. Awesome. Okay, that was our action of list stocks. Now, I think, yeah, that's right. We wanted to do this differently. We wanted to add just a plain database page here. Let's do a new PHP file. We'll call this database. And the database page should do all of this stuff here. This is what I was messing up here. Sorry, not the error. database. That's all of this happens here in the database. It does all this try. Oops. And then we want to catch and handle all that. Okay, there we go. Try and catch. Okay, so then we can just require this page here. We're going to require database PHP. And again, it's just going to wire up all those connections here then for us. Let's see. Now, what was it upset about? Oh yeah, our try block's empty. That's okay. Right, and then we don't need to have. We can have our buttons here, I guess. So this is still our index page. So we'll leave those for now. But now add stock just needs to go to us. Right, so index.php. And our update is going to go to index.php. PHP. And buy stock we're going to leave alone. Okay, because we haven't done that one yet. Yeah, I'll be putting it up on GitHub for sure. Yep, all this code. I'm going to put it up as a separate page probably, because otherwise it's going to erase the previous stuff, and maybe that's fine, or maybe it's not. I'm not really sure yet. Because you can always get back to it in the history, but that's a little bit of a pain sometimes. Okay, so we're first checking for actions. If it was list, do the list thing, require list. All right, if it wasn't list, right, else if my action was equal to, what do we want, like add stock. Well, let's do the add stock thing. Okay, well, what do we do for add stock? Well, we're going to have to get our parameters, right, because we're expecting a symbol and a price, and add is off of post data, right? So input post, we want a symbol, and then we want a price. It's symbol and price. Right, so when we add stock, we're giving, stock symbol, sorry, stock symbol and current price. Okay, we'll get those variables. And then we need to check, right? We need to make sure that they are valid. Because if they're not valid, well, then, we can't do this sort of thing. Here, we need to have some sort of error. Right? So let's make sure that they're not none. So our price then, right, we want to validate specifically as our filter validate as a float. Right? So that should specifically be a floating value. We can't do strings here. And make sure it's a floating value, and then we can check. Right, so if my symbol is null or my price is null, we've got a problem. Oops, not square braces, curly braces. Right, and what we can do is we can send them to just some sort of error page. Right, we can do some sort of generic error page. We'll have some error missing symbol or price. Okay, and then we can include some error page. Maybe we'll have a error.php. Okay, so maybe we'll make a quick little error page. We had a similar one for database error here. We're going to do essentially that, but just with error. Now let's call it error. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but that's okay for now. Right, and maybe give them a link now to go back. So a href index.php, back to home. Sure. Oh, that's probably the wrong page number. Page something? Sure. Okay, so still in our index then. So if we didn't get the right values here, let's error out and no good. Right, let's go back. Okay. If we did get values then, right, what we're going to do then is we're going to call our function. Right, we're going to call add stock. And we give it the symbol and the price. And then what do we want to do? Well, we want to just go back to where we were, right? We can just give them the main list stocks if we wanted. We can do that. Right? Or we could just go back to our page. So we're going to do the thing and then we're going to redirect. Right? We could redirect them back. So it reloads our page, right? So this will be our location. Right back to index.php. And we could give them a specific symbol if we wanted to load just that one up. Or we could just send them back here. Right? So we should be able to add a stock. It's going to call our add stock method. Right? That's our stock database here. We can, this one, yeah, this one's good. So we're going to add stock, runs it. There's no catch happening here. We'll add our stock, and then we're going to redirect back to the home page. If we wanted, we could load up just that particular symbol to load just the one, or we can just load them all. I think loading them all is probably fine. So let's add. Right, if we didn't add and we didn't list, how about else if my action was equal to update stock? Right, we can update a stock. So what we're going to need though, right, is we're going to need that action to be passed through. So we don't have a particular button now, right, because it's all going to index.php. So we need to add an action here to our form so we know which action it is. So for find stock is fine, right? Because that takes us there. We don't have to give it any action. That's just our. We could, but if we don't find one, that's our default here. We could add it in. So if you want to find a particular one, we need another input here then. So we're going to have an input type equals a hidden input, name equals action. Right? And then use a value this is list stocks. So we can add that hidden action or variable, so it's going to be passed when we want to list stocks, right? List stocks. Let's see if we can get that one through. Oh, shoot. Failed to open database. Oh, the dot I think was wrong. Dot was probably wrong. Let's go back. Yeah, not dot. It's just same directory. Nope. Stock database. Oh, undefined variable db on line 6. Okay, that's all right. We're troubleshooting here. So database, line 6. Oops, that's the... Which one is that? I didn't read the error close enough. Stock database, line 6. Oh, yes. So if we have a variable that we're using, because we're using db all sorts of places. Where's our db here? db prepare. We need to tell PHP where to go get this variable. Right? So to go get it, we need to say, hey, we have got this other variable. We got a global variable called database. Go get the database variable that's defined elsewhere outside the function so we can use it. There we go. So this tells, let me leave a note here. This allows PHP to go find the DB variable defined already. These require a directory, path, file. Now ours is all just relative here, right? Because we're all like just in the root current directory pages here. Nothing super fancy. All right, so let's see if we can find a symbol, right? So we're going to put on the network tab here so we can see what we're getting. Let's look up AMC and find. Did we get our request? Oh, no, it didn't load it. I did that hidden property wrong. Where's our input? I'm just going to Google it here. No, input value. I'm sure it's in the book somewhere, but I don't remember where we found it. Relative to the file rather than the called page. Ah. Am I missing the ID? Is that what I'm missing? Type hidden value name. Should all be there. Oh, that's, I put it in add stock. That's why. Oh boy. Yeah, I put it in the wrong one. There we go. If it's on the find stock, it'll probably work. Let's try that again. Let's find AMC. There we go. Action is list stocks. Right, we can see the action there. Okay. And again, that one's optional. We don't need that one there, but if we do pass it, we're good. Uh-oh. Stock symbols AMC. We're not finding it. Let's see. Oh, it's stock symbol. Symbol. There we go. So now we'll get the proper stock symbol out. Now I should be able to filter by, oh no, AMC. Oh, we forgot to do the DB thing other places. Okay, line 21. So let's come back to our stock database. We need this in all our functions here. And anywhere we're using it, we should put it in. There we go. Okay. We got all those methods now. What does it want to do? No, that's fine. There we go. Uh-oh. Can't find variable stock symbol on line 23 in stock database. Stock database. Line 23, we pass it the symbol. All right, here we need to bind it to symbol, or just call it stock symbol. Let's just do that. Okay. We're getting there. It's a little bit messy. Now we get AMC. All right, awesome. Okay, now we find AMC. And again, we just find nothing, and we get them all back out. Here's that table rows, or table headers I was talking about. So it automatically bolds them, makes the table look a little bit prettier. Again, not the prettiest thing in the world, but it ought to do for now. All right, so I know this probably doesn't look any cleaner than it was before, but the idea is what we're doing is we're breaking out all the pieces here to clean it up, because as we make changes, it's going to be a lot harder to change 5 different pages than it is going to be to change one view. Right, so if I want to change the view, I change it in one place and I'm done. If I want to change one of my functions, I change it in one place and then I'm done. So it kind of cleans up all of this. The way that we're organizing here. You put the global variables in the beginning of the PHP pages. You have to put them in the functions. Well, so the way we did it, we used this database page that we're requiring, and this is loading up that database connection for us. Because that way we have all the database stuff happens here, and then all of our queries, all of the functions happen here, and this is all the model stuff. So we could define database here in the page, but we would still need database, right? So we still need to go get it from the previous load and require. Right, so I think we've got all of these ones. We're listing, we're updating. Let's see if the rest of those work. Do we finish the rest of them? We've got list. Oh, no, the rest of our actions, right? Actions for update stock. Okay, so let's go add an update stock action. So this is for add stock. This is add stock. And then one more for update stock. Update stock. We're going to add or update here, so we can go check for those. So if we're updating the stock, right, we still do the symbol and price. Because if those don't work, that's no good. Right, oh, this should be, sorry, this should be an else. Right, we only do this if it works. And else, right, we only want to do that, right? Otherwise, send them to the error page because it doesn't work. Okay, then we want to do the update function. So we're going to call update stock, given the stock symbol and price. Right, and then when that's done, let's just redirect them back to home. Okay, that's for updating. And then the same, so add, right, adds the stock, updates the stock. Let's give those a shot. So let's update. Let's update AMC again. Let's put them back to 5.76. Sure. Update. And now 5.76, and the page reloaded. Let's add a stock. So let's add, let's just make sure it works here. How about, what were we just looking at? We were looking at Marathon, right? Is that one around? MRO. Let's add MRO at, what price was that? Come on. It's loading. 917. Yep, 917. Okay, we'll add. There we go. It added Marathon and it redirected us back here and we reloaded this page. So if we wanted to, let's do that for fun. Let's add in some of those parameters if we wanted to. So what we could do then here, right, if we wanted to send us back and only look at that specific location, then we would add in that our own query string here. So we'd say, okay, well, the stock symbol is equal to our symbol. Right? So when we update a stock, we're going to filter our view just to that one. So update. Let's update AMC again. We'll put it back to like 5.5. And we update. It sends us back with the update parameter, or the symbol parameter. So we're filtering to just that price. We can see just that one that got filtered. So you can also include parameters then from here. Oh, did it freeze? Let's see. I think kilobits. Yeah, they're okay. Not too bad. Give it a refresh. What'd you guys miss? I was adding in, this is how we can also pass it more parameters. Remember the double quotes here will automatically do this interpolation versus the single quotes. So I can just hand it, hey, here's the symbol for you. Okay? And again, one of the nice things about this is the reason this header redirect is really nice is because we're posting data. And when you post data, you get that ugly thing anytime you try and refresh, like, hey, do you want to resubmit? And a lot of times we don't want to resubmit, right? Because I don't want it to do the operation again. So when we redirect, it sends us back to a get here. And the get, I can refresh as many times as I want. So once I update, right, we put AMC back to 5.7, and I add, I can refresh, and refresh, and refresh, and it's not going to hurt anything. Before, if you were posting data, and you would try to refresh, I think we still post here, right? Let's buy AMC for a share. Here, so this was, we posted data. When I hit refresh, it says, oh, we have posted data. Do you want to resend it? Right, so with that redirect, it gets rid of the post data, which is another benefit. Okay, so we still have all the buttons here, which is okay, right? We could move those out into separate pieces if we wanted, but that's not too terrible right now. But what we've done is we moved all of our operations then to our model. We said, hey, if we want to do something, go ask the model to do it. The model will go talk to the database. Our page here in the controller is grabbing all of the variables passed to it, all the post data or get data, and then routing stuff to models and returning views. That's its whole job. Right? So we're trying to separate what happens. Oh, yeah. So we wanted to get the globals variable there with DB. Yeah, we could go get the one specifically out. And I don't think it hurts anything to just have it set locally here and say, hey, I want to make my database variable be the global one. I don't think it'll be too much of a concern for us. Okay. All right. Well, it's a little after 2. Why don't we take a 10-minute break? I'm going to go get some coffee, and we'll come back, and then we're going to look at debugging and more forms. So this model, if you want to use it for the project, great. You don't have to. If you don't want to, hopefully you already started on it because it's due next week. For buying stock, right? Buying and selling stock, and that sort of stuff. If you want to use it, great. If you don't want to use it, that's okay. The next project that we're going to talk about next week, we're going to be requiring this model view controller style design, where we've got the model page that goes and talks to the database. Here's all the functions. Here's all the ways I send data, update data, delete data, whatever I'm doing, and then I'm giving results back with functions. Right? It would be just a bunch of functions essentially. We can do all that here, and then we'll use views when we want to do other pieces here. So like this is how I view this one little piece here. I can return just this view. So actually, I think this one is going to be ugly. I don't think we need all of this because we're not an entire page. So I think if we look at our index, yeah, because we also have the rest of it up here. It's going to be a little bit ugly. We'll clean that up when we come back, okay? All right, so I'm going to take a couple-minute break. We'll come back in a little bit. Go get your coffee. We'll have some fun. All right, gang. I think we're back. How's it going? All right. So we're trying to clean up our views here, right? So we want our controller. We want to try and take the other pieces out of it here. Well, that's example. We want to leave that there. Okay. So what we want to try and do is we want to get rid of all of this other stuff here and move those out into our view files so we don't have to do anything else inside of it. Okay, so we can take all of this piece out here. Let's move it to our list stocks view. We're going to take the rest of it out and add all of our buttons back in here. All right, let's see. Let's put it down here for a second, and then we'll put our list back in, stock list back in the body. Okay, I'll take all that extra out. So other things that we can do, right? We can include other pieces if we wanted. So we could add in a new, like a footer here. Well, it's like a footer, not fodder, footer. Footer page. And our footer page then could have any sort of shared information that we want to have across all of our applications. So all the pages here we can add in just a little footer view, and this is going to go at the bottom of our page. So I don't know, it doesn't have to have a whole lot here. It might just be a footer. Could add in the book has this little like copyright here, right? So we say copyright copy, and then we can echo out PHP go the date, and we'll just add the year here. We just want a year to show and say, hey, we're going to copyright our page here. And this is copyright, I don't know, our awesome app. And then we can end the body, we can end the HTML. The idea is here we just include this footer then at the bottom of all of our pages. So we go back to our list stocks. So instead of doing all of this down here, we just require our footer. Right, in our view, we can just require the footer. PHP, or include, right, include the footer. So then on our page now, we're automatically going to get that footer information here. And it's just, it adds a silly little copyright, but the same idea, we can share our awesome application here. Shows up, oh, we got to remove the rest of that. That's right. So we take it out of our index page. I didn't save it. There we go. Now I saved it. There. And it gets our little footer. We can do the same thing with a header. We can add a nice little header here. And then what we could do, we could organize these a little bit better here. We can have views here. And then we could have models over here. Right, so all of the view information here, our header and our footer can go into views. And list can go into views. Right, and then our models, error and database error are views, right? Then our models can go into our models page folder here. So now the only thing we're going to have to tell where to go find this is models slash now and models slash. And then this is in views, error here, views, error. Okay, I think that one's good there. Let's see then. So our model should be okay. Let's see. So we'll add a little header in here as well. Add a new header. And we're going to call this our my awesome stock app. Is the title of our page. Sure, we can do that, right? Sure. And then we can have some body. I don't know. We don't need to really put anything in there. And we just add the head and the head. Okay, so we'd include this one then on all of our other pages instead of having our own start at the top. Let's see, header, yep. Include header PHP. Okay, so it's just going to kind of put all those together. Oops, no file, list stocks. List stocks PHP. Oh yeah, we need to go change the path to list stocks. Yeah, because that is in our view. There's our list. Here we go. Acquire views, list stocks. Give that a shot. Okay, so now list stocks can't find header PHP. That's okay. Let's go fix that up. List stocks needs views header. Give that a refresh. Nope. Hey, how's it going? All right, I think, oh, we're almost there. Now we need to fix up our footer page. Just trying to clean this up here, organize ourselves a little bit better here for views and footer. Okay, there. Now we should, we're going to test all the functionality. Let's see if it still works. Like, let's find AMC. Here we get AMC. Oh, we added it. Oops, it's in here twice. That's probably not ideal. Let's just go back to our phpMyAdmin and clean that up. Sometimes we have to clean up our mess. All right, let's take a look at our test database. Yeah, exclam class if you're looking for more information there. Missing Persian prints. Thanks for coming along with us. Okay, and we want to delete that extra AMC. Here we go. Oh dear. Stock order. Someone ordered the AMC stock. Uh-oh. Can't delete that one. Stock order. Okay. So that was stock. Let's delete that AMC order. Then we can delete this one here. I don't know what happened there. We bought it and added it twice. Something that seems like we did a wrong thing here. What do we do with buy stock? Insert into stock order. Oh, we were just finding where stock was a symbol. Okay, so we must have added it twice. This was only finding it. If we had stock with more than one symbol, we're going to run into trouble because this was going to find it more than one time. That's okay. So I think we took care of that in our view. We should be back. And now we get our nice title too, right? My awesome stock app. Right, we get the title out there. Go back and find all of them. See if we can add another stock, update a stock. Let's update Disney 190. Okay, that's just 190 there. Great, we can find them all again. Let's add another stock. Let's see, who else is fun? You want to look at Tesla? Maybe we can go find Tesla. See what Tesla's trading at today. We'll add them to our stock. So TSLA at how much? 788.02. 788.02. Let's add them. Great, now we get Tesla. Okay, so everything seems to still be working, right? Which is good. And now we have a little bit more organized bit of code here, right? All the view stuff is in the views folder, right? All of our models here are in the models folder. And then our index page, its entire job, right, is to look at inputs and redirect stuff to models and views, models and views. So you see, we're trying to piecemeal this together here to be a little bit more organized. You follow this pattern. All right. Yeah, no problem. Awesome. So you guys feeling okay about this pattern? Right, trying to move all the database interaction stuff into models, trying to move all the view stuff, all the HTML stuff into views, and then our index page is our controller. It just does the navigation, right? It does, okay, get some data, send it here. Get some data, send it here. Whatever we happen to want to do. Right, we move the rest of our page out here. This is our list page, right? This is our general stocks, whatever, right? Maybe we'll just call this stocks. Maybe that's easier. Yeah, let's just call it stocks, PHP. So now I need to go find it though. That wasn't right. Oops. Oh, views, footer. So I need an index. I'm gonna do just stocks.php. Okay, still good. EMC. Okay, we can still find them. Clear it all out. Yeah, it's a different way of organizing here, a different way of structuring our code together. So definitely go through the books example. Murrock's got some good stuff in there. Looking at his guitar catalog, how he builds it all out. It's the same idea, right? We're taking all the HTML stuff, breaking it out, taking all the database stuff, breaking that out, right? Just trying to separate our concerns. Okay. Yeah, definitely got the VOD, so we can go over it again. Okay, familiar with the concepts. Besides, yeah, the syntax is going to take a little bit. The PHP syntax is a little rough sometimes. Okay. Another stretch. All right. Yeah, so I export all the VODs to YouTube as well, and that's what I've been putting. Thank you for the stretch, Snake. I put the YouTube links out in D2L because those ones will stay. Eventually, the VODs will get taken off of Twitch, but I've got them all out here in content. There's the lecture archive. So I'll just post. These are all the YouTube links out here for the exports. And this was at the terrible day that the stream kept breaking up, so put it into 3 parts. Okay. So you can go find the YouTube links out here if you want, or come back to Twitch for the VODs as well. Yeah, and do me a favor if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once I get to 100 subs, then I can actually get a name for it. Because right now it's ugly. I forget what there's like no channel URL. It's just some nonsense thing here. Yeah, this one here. Like that's my channel path I have to give everyone. Thankfully I can give them shortcuts and whatnot, but it's here's the channel. So once I get enough people to subscribe, then I can actually give it like it'd be youtube.com/Eric Charneski, which would be so much nicer. So I need 34 more subscribers, yo. Tell your friends. They can go learn some stuff, right? So yeah. And any revenue will be donated to the Student Scholarship Fund. So thank you for supporting that. And Twitch takes its cut from Twitch, YouTube takes its cut for YouTube, of course. But if anything ever does come my way, then it's getting all put into the Student Scholarship Fund, which is awesome. We get extra credit for references. What do you mean, like referencing what, Ray? Oh, thanks, Lazy. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's put... Where's my breakpoint? My goodness. The extra credit for a YouTube shout out? Oh, if you refer people to the page. No, I'm sorry. I'll give you channel bonus points for sure. I don't actually know if I can give those to people directly. I don't know if that's just baked into Twitch or what, but it's interesting. Okay. Here's my breakpoint. Let's debug. Yeah, I want to allow access. I don't know if you can actually see that. I want to allow access for the debugger. Let's see if we can get some debug action going here. Add my breakpoint. It's not adding a breakpoint. NetBeans hates me today. What is going on here? No, oh, macro, that was the wrong thing. Not macro recording. Breakpoint. Toggle breakpoint. Why is it not cooperating? Of course, the breakpoint doesn't work today when I want to show it. We can talk about something like that, Ray. Don't sweat it too much. You guys are all doing great, I'm sure. So I'll get that first project graded and let you know, and you'll have a better feel for where you stand. Why will it not debug? AMC. Find. Come on, my awesome stock app. It's NetBeans now. Ah, xdebug. Okay, let's take a look. PHP Ini file. All right, xamp. PHP Ini file. We need to find a couple things here, right? We want xdebug. Start at the top. Xdebug. No, it's not there. Okay, good to know. Do we have anything about debug? Here we go. Process only. Yeah, that's fine. Debug. 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 Nope, nope, nope. Debug. All right, so it's not in there. Interesting. Let's see if we can add some in here. Let's see if we find, is this link helpful? I just want to be able to copy paste. Oh, I'm opening this. That's terrible. Terrible browser. Let's example. A Zend. Let's see. I don't think we need those. No, we're not using Zend. Was there anything else for xamp? Where did it go? For xamp, yeah. Apache bin PHP Ini. Right here. Remote on. Do we need that same version? Huh. Let's try this here. We're gonna go on all this stuff. This file's a mess. Sorry, guys. This is a mess. Oof. Boy. This file's huge. There we go. Oh, I was almost to the top too, right? All right, about the file, quick reference. PHP options. Sure. Language options. Don't need to rewrite anything. I don't know. Let's stick it at the bottom, I guess. Okay. Let's give that a shot. Stop and start. Okay. See if we can debug our project now. Put on a breakpoint. Oh, it does not like my breakpoint. It is unhappy with me, folks. Sorry. People still use Opera. Yeah, it should be. That's not installed. Okay, not installed. So what I get for not reading right. I thought it said it was installed already. Xdebug. Configure it. Huh. All right, let's Google that real quick. I'm sorry, folks. Xdebug. That means. That's the page we were on, right? Yep, sure. That's WAMP specific. We're not using that one. All right. Hey, here we go. Full output of PHP info. Nice. That's fun. Yeah. Some tiny mismatches with release. Okay, sure. PHP info. So we wanted everything, right, out of this? I don't think it wants all of this nonsense. Full output of PHP info. Let's see if we can paste it in. Hydration, yeah, thank you. All right, here we go. Ugh. Nice. Look at that, directions and everything. This was not so bad. Yeah, who knows downloading random DLLs from your computer, right? It's got to be safe. Put it in the folder here. No, I think it's safe. JRRP4D. It said keep. Report this file is safe. What? Okay. Oh, it's upset with us. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Put it in our directory here. Go find our downloads. No, keep it, I said. Keep. I didn't click keep. I clicked mark as safe. That's awesome. No, keep anyway. Stupid thing. PHP debug. There we go. There we go. Throw it in here. Did it go? Did it copy? There it goes. Awesome. We got this line. Edit PHP Ini. Let's go do that. So I don't need this other stuff? Maybe? Or maybe I need it here. I'm going to save them both. Let's try it. Stop and start. Restart the web server. Yeah, project 2, for sure. Stop. Debug. Is it still giving us the warning? Restart. See if we get any errors, right? Did it work? Didn't give us any errors, did it? No, it's still trying to connect. All right, folks, I'm sorry. I thought this was all working, and obviously it was not. My apologies. I'll come back to this. I will definitely get that up and running, because that is stupid. It should just go. I had all that. Yeah. Xdebug. One more look here. Our config page. Localhost on extensions. Is there anything in here? Our logs. Let's see. No, nothing there. That's annoying, guys. I'm sorry. We'll get this going a little bit later. Do you want to talk about the project? For sure. Like, directions did not work, of course. That's okay. Excuse me. So project 2. Right, we're taking that stock assignment we've been working on as the example, and we're going to build out the buying and selling of particular stocks. So all those CRUD pages, the create, the read, the update, and delete. Okay, so the user can buy and sell stocks. So we're going to have a stock order record, right? And that will update the user's balance, which is the quantity times the current price. So when we go and order stock, right, we're adding stock for them, but we need to go and update their balance. We need to show the list of stocks purchased, showing the symbol name, not the ID, their username, not the user ID, right? So we have to do some joins. And then we need to be able to update or delete. So to sell our stock, either all or nothing, we delete the row in stock order, add the balance of the current price times the quantity. Right, so remember we set up that stock order page over here in our database. So you can follow along building out the database. I could export the scripts, but that's usually just causes more trouble, and it's good practice to go build it yourself. So remember, the table has the stock ID, the purchase price, the quantity, and the user that it belongs to. So that references the stock ID from the stock table, it references the user ID from the user table, tells us how much and how much they bought it for. Okay, so purchase price is going to show us how much they paid, and then the current price times the quantity will show us what it's worth currently. So if you bought a bunch of shares of AMC at $200 a share, and now AMC is worth 40 something, or GME GameStop is worth like 40 something dollars a share, you're down a whole lot, right? That's what happens when you buy in a bubble, that sort of thing. Okay, so when they do sell, we're going to update their balance. So we need a place to be able to show the users, right, with their balance. We need this adding and selling stocks. We can buy stocks at their current price. We can just list out the data. Right, so it's just a little bit of practice doing some of this data work. Right, so we've got all the tables. We got the stocks there. We just need to go update and delete. So I think I did the create for you, right, where you could buy a stock. Right, it's going to add the stock order. What it doesn't do here yet, right, is change the balance of the user's account. Right, we need to go find the stock current price, multiply it by the quantity, right, subtract that from the user's balance. So it's going to take some more updates, some more commands here. Right, this is not it for buying stock. Okay, so there's still some more work that has to be done there. And again, you can just do it this way. It's not a problem to just have your pages and build them all together like this, the ugly way. I don't expect you to adopt that MVC stuff yet, because we're just now talked about it, and we've already been working on this project. Okay, so it's just taking that existing database, the one we built in class, we're going to try and add some operations here for stock orders. Okay? How's that feel? All right, I got one more thing to try here. I'm going to try my PHP Ini. Go down to the bottom. Cut that out. The top. Let's try putting it up here. Remote enabled. Enable equals 1. That's what the book suggested. Let's try 1. Stop and start. See if we can find it here. That's not it. PHP info. Let's debug. Aha! With Xdebug. So I think we've got it there, right? Yeah, okay. So it shows it here. That's good. That's good. Oh, step debugging. Huh. I don't know if we need to turn any of those other pieces on or not, right? Let's try it again. Hey! Put a breakpoint in. Wasn't doing that before. It's a good sign. That's a good sign. Our stocks page. Where did we go? Where did we go? Index. Our controller. Debug. Didn't hit. We're getting closer though. Waiting for a connection. All right. Did I save it? I thought I saved it. Stop and start. Stop debugger. I got all that in. This one says on as 1. Let me try putting it back as on. That's what NetBeans says. Config on. I think the book was using an old one, maybe. Stop and start. Debug. No, it went right to it. All right, I'll figure it out after. I think that's good for now. We're about out of time. Let's push the forms bit till next week. I want you guys to get some practice with this MVC model stuff. I'll figure out the debugger, and we'll get going on this for sure next week. Okay? You guys feeling all right? We got enough to do with the next project. Again, copy all the stuff out of the database. That's no problem. Let me get all this stuff exported out here. Let's see, XAMPP, htdocs, and let me grab all of our database program here. You know what? I'll just put it again in here, 2454. I'll put the new version out here. Repository. Let's do that. I'm going to delete the old one here and put the new one out. Database program with MVC. That's all, folks. Yeah, we need that little Donald Duck, right? No, that's Daffy? No. The pig. That's Elmer. No, not. Is the pig Elmer Fudd? No, Elmer Fudd's the guy who hunts the pig, right? I forget. It's been too long since I watched the cartoons. Yeah, what other class are you having trouble in, Ray Ray? All right, so all that stuff here is out on our GitHub page for the course. Exclam Discord, exclam GitHub out in chat there. All right, so you can see our models, you can see our views. All those files are out here now for you to take a peek at. Oh, data structures, that's a fun one, yeah. I like that. Yeah, is that with Dr. Baugh? 8% hack. Why? Is unhappy with our file here? That's funny. Okay, sure. Yep. All right, well, let me know. Let me know how things are going. I'll finish up this debugging steps here. I must be missing something simple. Because it's finally let me put breakpoints in. It's just not seeing them now. So we're close. We're close there. All right. Pig is just pig. All right. That's all, folks. All right, guys. We'll talk to you. Porky Pig. Yeah, that sounds right. Porky Pig. Google's amazing, right? Google is amazing. All right, guys. We will see you around. Let's see. Is there anyone else streaming? We should go bother. Let's see who else is around. We can go pester. Let's see. Prof Malco doing a class? No, we got time. We can slide in. Let's see. Is he in lecture? Might not be able to raid him. We can go pester him, maybe. Yeah, it looks like he's lecturing right now. Oh. Let's see. Man, it's just not loading. Nothing is loading. Come on. Let's go, Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Oh, no, yeah, we can't raid his channel. Bummer. Go learn some math and go pester Professor Peter, who's the coolest math teacher I know, because he teaches, or he does Python labs in his calculus class. So let's go over there, say hi. Everyone, give him some love and say Eric sent you. Okay, I'll see you around, guys. See you next week.